Hello everybody, what is up? It is Stan the Man and welcome back to another Stan the Man podcast. And what the fuck is going on? I shouldn't be laughing at this type of shit. I was literally gone for a week or two. I just stopped making podcasts for just a little bit because I had other shit to do, and all of a sudden there are fucking riots all over the goddamn place. Like, props to you. Props to you if you're if you can constantly, go on the news and watch this shit. Because before everything else, the news was just full of COVID-19 shit, and now it's all about this protest. And now it's all about protests and riots and stuff like that. But we'll get to that later. How are you? How are you guys doing today? What the fuck am I talking about? You can reply in the comments or wherever the fuck I post this. I'm gonna be honest, this podcast was literally made in a hurry. I don't know how long this podcast is gonna be. I usually start out with an intro, what day it is and stuff like that, but due to the nature of current events, I don't think that's gonna happen, right? But we're just gonna dive right into it. Like always, we always start out with some local news. Life on the island of Aruba is finally returning to normal, though it does have its downsides, right? An official case has been put to court against the government of Aruba because even though it's still 2020, abortion is still illegal, gay marriage or same-sex marriage is still not recognized by the state, and same-sex couples cannot yet be allowed to adopt children. Now that is some bull fucking shit. I mean, come on. It's 2020, guys. Do we really gotta freaking stick with this backwater tradition? People are, oh no, it's against our culture. Just because it's Aruban culture, that doesn't mean it's good culture, alright? Fucking hell. People love each other. It doesn't matter if they got a dick or a twat. Just let them get married. Let them adopt a kid. For fuck's sake. Otmar Odiber has been accused of corruption. Wow! An Aruban politician accused of corruption? In other news, water wet. Jesus fucking Christ. If I had a nickel for every corrupt parliamentarian, corrupt politician we've had, I'd be a fucking millionaire by now. I wouldn't even be in the military right now. Now, we're going to move on to some international news, okay? Now, everybody knows what's been going on. I don't have to state why most of this shit's happening. Riots are breaking out all across the good old US of A as protests over the death of George Floyd continue in over 75 cities nationwide. The protests have also gone international as people in Amsterdam, Den Haag, and Groningen, all them states in the Netherlands, have been gathering in large masses to express their anger of what's been going on in the states. Okay, now these large masses of people have also raised concerns that the amount of COVID-19 cases may skyrocket, and they have a right to do so. I don't know how much it was. I wrote this podcast like fucking 3 hours ago, but I had a notification on my phone that in the past 24 hours there have been nearly 19,000 confirmed cases in the United States. Okay, now in case you're not reading this, I have this highlighted. I'm gonna add like a snapshot to it if it goes on YouTube. I have this highlighted. If you are in the U.S. or are participating in these protests, reminder to stay safe and make sure you don't get the Rona. Can't really protest if you're dead. But in all seriousness, guys, stay safe out there. Now, it doesn't take a genius to really know what the fuck's been going on out there. Now, before I start this next segment, you're gonna need a little bit of context, okay? As a member of the military, one of the first things we did after boot camp was the BBW opleiding, okay? Basically, it's a course on how to deal with riots and stuff like that, and it's taught by the Koninklijke Marechaussee. That's the Dutch military police. During this course, a few men and I were selected to be trained as braadras, okay, or brand- en traangas specialist. To put it in basic terms, we were trained to put out fires, okay, in case they started using pyrotechnics and riots and stuff like that, or to put ourselves out if we caught on fire, or to put our colleagues out and stuff like that. Also, traangas, tear gas. We are also trained on the effective use of tear gas, the effective and safe use of tear gas. All right. Now, when it was absolutely necessary. If the platoon commander wanted to use tear gas to disperse a crowd, he would have to literally get the go-ahead from us. Only we could get the go-ahead to to use tear gas, and only we are still able to use it, are still allowed to use it. I am still trained and I am still certified to use tear gas, all right? Now, for what I've been seeing in the riots happening all around the fucking US, it doesn't look like one of these fuckers seem to know how to use these things correctly. I'm talking like riot police and stuff like that. Keep in mind, Dutch law and US laws are very different things, okay? Maybe they learn things a bit differently over there, so take whatever the fuck I say here with a grain of salt. Now, the number one thing you need to know about using tear gas, all right? You cannot fire tear gas directly at people. I mean, seriously, you're literally firing a projectile that can either seriously hurt or even kill someone if it hits them in the head or in the wrong fucking place. We were trained to use the lob method, okay? Since this thing you can't, oh shit, I just jostled the microphone. You can't shoot this thing in a straight line towards the crowd, right? You have to lob it either towards them or behind them, okay? So what you would do, we would use the lob method. You would aim high and, depending on the wind, estimate where the canister would land after you would fire, and you would adjust your aim accordingly, okay? That way, when it lands, the worst that can happen is, I don't know, the person will get like a really bad fucking bump on the head because the canister is still fucking heavy. Now, there's also, number 2, the proportional use of force. Anybody, and I mean anybody who has worked in military or any form of law enforcement knows about this, but it seems that some folk need a friendly reminder. Let me give you an example here. If my orders are to make sure nobody gets past the perimeter of an important building, it just means I'm going to have to stand there and mostly keep my mouth shut. People are going to be mad at you. People are going to start screaming at you. People are going to start touching you, poking you, pulling at you, and stuff like that. You need some level of self-control here. If someone is going to start poking at me the whole time, I'm not going to fucking immediately bash him with my fucking riot shield. No. Okay? You try to calm the person down, okay? You try to calm him or her down, or at least try to warn them in case they do cross a line, okay? Only if they cross a certain line, you are allowed to use some level of force, but I'm not gonna fucking pull out my baton and start fucking whacking the shit out of them. No. That is literally if I do that and they call me on tape, okay, that's enough for me to be court-martialed. Not only would I lose my job, I would literally face years in prison because of that shit, okay? Now, one thing a lot of people also seem to be forgetting over there, okay, especially those in law enforcement, are the 3 Ds. De-escalate, and fucking escalate. The whole point of a riot control squadron is to make sure the protests don't get out of hand. 90% of the time, that is the whole deal of a riot squadron, okay? Now, your main objective is to de-escalate the situation so nobody gets arrested or hurt. What I've been seeing, and I'm pretty sure most of you or anybody who's been tuning into the fucking news have been seeing literally the opposite of that. If you provoke the crowd in any way, shape, or form, they will not hesitate to retaliate en masse. Okay? What you'll end up with is a situation that could have been avoided, that could have been completely avoided, a situation that can turn ugly real quick. So yeah, that's basically like rioting and protesting 101. Also, just I don't know, a tip for protesters and stuff like that. This is what I've been taught, okay? Back onto the proportional use of force. Let's say I get an order to arrest you, all right? Or to handcuff you. The more you struggle, and I mean the more you do not cooperate, okay, the more force I will apply to make sure you're cooperating, okay? That is essentially what is known as the proportional use of violence. What that fucking scumbag did to Mr. Floyd, I'm sorry, but it's uncalled for, okay? You kneel between the fucking shoulder blades, not on the goddamn neck, you scumbag. My fucking god, nah, but you've been seeing what's been going on out there. There is a fine line between right and wrong. Sometimes that line gets so fucking blurred, it's hard to tell which side you're really fucking on. We're not talking about a single fucking incident, or like a few bad apples. We are talking about nearly 3 centuries of pent up rage that finally seems to be boiling over. That does not excuse the truly disgusting behavior I've been seeing. Okay? I'm no expert in social science or behavioral culture or cultural anthropology in general. All right? So assume that what I'm talking right now, I'm just talking out of my ass, okay? During this whole fucking ordeal, okay, it looks like there have been 3 kinds of people. Those who have been affected and who are rightfully seeking justice, those who support those who are affected and are actually helping them to seek justice, and the third one, those who are using anarchy as an opportunity. Let me expand on this third group real quick. They use the anarchy around them as a distraction for their truly fucked up actions. All right? This group of people, they have no race, no color, okay? It showcases a dark side of primal human behavior, okay? Like it or not, it's something that we all have. They blend in with those who are actually trying to make a goddamn difference out there, all right? The ones who are actually protesting peacefully. The ones who are actually protesting peacefully for a life, basically for a life where they don't have to fear being killed by the ones who are sworn to serve and protect. They are using this tragedy, the death of another human being, as a facade to hide or even justify their truly fucked up actions. I'm talking about the fucking looters, those who are literally instigating violence or destroying private property. I remember back when I was in high school, there was our history teacher, Mr. Yasagarai. He actually showed us footage. No, it wasn't Yasagarai. It was someone else. I can't remember his name. But he showed us footage of the 1992 riots that happened in LA. There was this poor man, this black man, and he was just distraught, just crying at a crowd of people. All right, because they had literally destroyed his store. He had nothing to do with this. And still, his livelihood, it's just gone. All right? Those who instigate violence rather than avoid it, I'm sorry, to me, those people are no better than the fuckers who killed Floyd. This is why I keep saying, right? Protect the protesters. Protect the protesters. Shoot the looters. All right? Now, I'm going to sound hella evil here, okay? Americans have this thing called the Second Amendment. Store owners have every right to protect their businesses, even if it means using deadly force. I don't want it to come to that. Nobody wants it to come to that. So please, don't fucking use this to fucking, I don't know, steal a pair of J's you can't afford. All right? Jeez, if they do send in the National Guard, instead of fucking trying to control the riots, all right, Lord knows that's been helping, set up defensive perimeters around shops and local businesses and protect them. That's it. It's painfully obvious that 2020 has been the biggest shit show that our generation has had to deal with. We saw a continent on fire, the threat of war, and a pandemic that this planet hasn't seen in over a fucking century. Now, we are currently seeing the biggest fight for black lives since the time of Martin Luther King. Now, some may argue that Dr. King wouldn't approve of this. Well, I guess we wouldn't know since he was shot while protesting peacefully. So keep your mouth shut there, bud. As I mentioned before, this isn't the case of a few bad apples. This isn't the case of isolated incidents. We are talking nearly 300 years of oppression, 300 years of fear, 300 years of pent-up anger and rage that is finally boiling over. The world is watching, and all eyes are on the U.S. The big question is, will things finally change? Or will they die down and simmer, only to boil over again in the future? I don't know. I really don't fucking know. Anyway, we're moving on from that, okay? We're just gonna move on from that a little bit, okay? Sorry that things got just a little bit heavy for a little bit, okay? I just felt the need to address that real quick, okay? Anyway, you guys aren't really here to hear any of that. You're just here to fucking hear me rant and rage about things that are just regular occurrences in the day. In other words, my suffering provides... Fuck, I just dropped my tonti, mi mam. Alright, sorry about that. I dropped my notebook. Now, as I mentioned before, I was so rudely interrupted by a combination of gravity and my own dumbassery. Man, what was I talking about? Or yeah, life is like slowly returning back to normal here on the island, and I still can't tell if I'm fucking excited because it is good. It does like feel nice seeing more people on the street again, even though I constantly bitch and complain that I don't really like people that much. I still don't really like people that much, but it is good to see people starting to head back out again and return back to their daily lives. It's kind of a bit of like a morale boost, if I'm gonna be honest. One thing I don't fucking like is the traffic. The fucking traffic is starting to get ridiculous again. I swear to fucking God, most people here on the island got their fucking driver's license from a box of Cracker Jacks. There's no other fucking explanation. Nah, but I think they're like they're lifting too many restrictions too soon though, and we as Arubans, we are actually abusing a bit of our return freedom, okay? I remember like fucking... No, about a week ago, no. Like the first week when they started lifting the fucking sanctions, an ambulance had to be called towards Arashi Beach because apparently some girl, some girl drank too much fucking apple cider and got alcohol poisoning. I really shouldn't be laughing at this because I'm pretty sure she almost died, but the fucking ridiculousness of it, alright? You always hear people on like fucking ODing on whiskey or beer and stuff like that. Never in my life have I heard of someone drinking too much apple cider. I'm sorry, but the ridiculousness of that whole scenario just sounds hilarious to me. I really hope she's alright though, but my fucking God. Nah, but more and more people, I've been running a lot more. Like, oh, one thing I've noticed, alright, like back, the gym, whenever I would work out, I would either work out at home, but then I decided no, that was actually getting a little bit boring, and I couldn't work out at the gym at base because they closed it down because the commander didn't really want anybody inside the base, okay, which props to him, okay, he actually enlisted a lot of good rules to make sure the base personnel are safe, so I'm not really complaining, but I still had to get my workout in, okay, a marinier moet fit blijven, a marine has to stay fit. So if you've ever been to Aruba, or if you're listening to this and you live here in Aruba, you probably know of the DV Phoenix Hotel. And near the DV Phoenix Hotel, there's like this little spot where there's like pull-up bars, dip bars, and stuff like that. And that's where I would go to actually do my workouts. First, I did like Kunuku gyms here, but I've been getting like really into calisthenics. I did my first muscle up a couple of weeks ago, and I'm gonna be honest, all right, I'm seeing a difference. I got a lot more lean. I'm not gonna lie, I lost a lot of muscle mass, but I also lost a lot of fat. But I'm pretty sure it's because I've been running a lot more. I decided to actually run a bit more because I've been only running like once a week, and so I decided like up my cardio a bit, start running 3 times per week. All right, so twice a week, 5 kilometers, 5K, and one smooth 10K, just a smooth 10K jog. I don't really pay attention to like beat my time. I just run at an easy pace. I started to fall in love with running, but I remember when this whole thing was I remember when this whole fucking thing was in still full swing. Now, they changed the highway past the hotel area. It used to be a 2-lane highway, but now it's just 1 lane, and the other side is a bike lane and a walk path for like people who are on bikes or decide to go on runs and stuff like that. And I remember like the first few weeks there were like always a lot of people there. Like a lot of fucking people, and I was like, props to them. Okay, they're actually heading outside, they're exercising, okay, they're taking charge of their own fucking health. Literally, I started respecting those people a lot more. And then, you know, things started to lift up, and I went for a run on Saturday. There was nobody there. Literally, I saw no one. Just from one week to another, gone. Aftermath, population 0, just fucking gone, nobody there. And I thought, oh no, they just stopped running. No, they did stop running, but now ever since they lifted restrictions, okay, everybody went to the beach. I went for a run on Saturday, and on Sunday, me and colleagues, a few buddies who were in my class in boot camp, they organized a little bit like a get together, like a barbecue bash. Right? We sat, we drank a few beers, ate a few burgers, had a really great time. Okay, and I noticed there are a lot more people on the fucking beach. Nobody's on the jogging track anymore. Everybody's on the beach, so they didn't disappear. They just switched places. Oh man, but. Oh man, the traffic's getting crazy out there. Another thing, like, people are like stuck to their old ways. Like, one thing that I've been noticing a lot, especially on my early morning runs, and people have been leaving a lot of litter on the beaches. And it's not just Aruba. Apparently in the UK, in France too, a lot of people, basically anywhere that has beaches in general, people seem to be leaving a lot of trash behind since governments worldwide has started like lifting restrictions. And it's kind of fucking annoying. Now here I understand a little bit because, well, Arubans, what you need, I'm not gonna shit on my own people, but Arubiano nang the fucking flow. Arubans are fucking lazy as shit. It's not stigma, okay? It's the truth, okay? I'm a Reuben, I know. But my fucking god, most people, especially the beaches in front of the hotel area are still public beaches, and they all have trash cans that are run by the hotel staff. Since most of the hotels are fucking closed and are running on limited to no staff, there is no staff to literally pick up the trash left behind by regular people. So people just leave their fucking shit assuming that someone else is gonna pick it up, and nobody's picking it up. So what you end up with is literally just these is literally just trash bags and beer bottles for fucking kilometers on end. Like, fucking hell, pick up your shit. Literally, like fucking, like, when you finish shitting, do you not wipe your goddamn ass? Like, listen, you fucking asshole. It takes like 2 goddamn seconds. Oh, and what's worse, okay, people, oh no, I threw it out. The fucking trash can is full, and there's stuff spilling onto the fucking ground. You didn't fucking throw it out, you cunt. Alright? You just tossed it and forgot about it. Literally, I don't fucking like it either, but if I'm like at a beach, okay, and I got shit to throw out, and I see the fucking trash can is full, I'm like, fuck it, I take it with me. Odds are you got a dumpster at home, you got a Clico, you got a trash can at home. Fucking take it with you and toss it in your garbage can at home. Literally, you're not wasting anybody's time. You're not wasting 2 damn seconds. Like, fucking hell, man. Oh, man, but, what else has been going on? I didn't really get this far in the podcast, you know. Oh yeah, I fucking watched this trippy ass show, Midnight Gospel. Now, one thing that drew me towards Midnight Gospel is that it was created by, I forgot his fucking name, but it was created by the same dude who created Adventure Time, and Adventure Time is literally one of my favorite shows of all goddamn time, right next to Steven Universe, Power Rangers, all that good shit. And when I saw that it was voiced by Duncan Trussell, literally one of my favorite comedians and podcasters, to be honest, I just go on, because I love his voice. I love it. I don't know why. He has like this fucking nerdy voice that is soothing to like listen to. Especially as like background noise. So shout out to Duncan Trussell. You don't know who the fuck I am. Oh man, but that show is fucking weird. It's a weird show, but it's weird in a good way. You know, like fuck it. It's like somebody animated so the premise of the show is that you literally have a podcast between Duncan, or in this case Clancy, the main protagonist of the show, and someone, and they'd always talk about these deep philosophical questions about death, existentialism, the soul, and stuff like that. So what you would get is basically the episode itself, the animated episode, has like this overarching story in the background, while in the meantime you basically have these 2 characters, Clancy and whoever the hell he's fucking interviewing, like having this conversation. And to me, it's basically like how you're listening to, It's basically like how you're listening to a podcast talking about like this deep existential stuff while you're doing something completely else in the background, okay? For example, I fucking love listening to Joe Rogan's podcast while I'm cleaning my room or while I'm doing some shit or while I'm writing stuff, okay? Yeah, I write in a journal, sue me. All right? It's just nice. I don't know. And but man, some of the episodes they talk about some stuff that really. One episode that got to me. Spoiler alert for anybody. Okay, they end up in this prison. To summarize, this dude that they're following, he just dies and reborns, and every time he dies, he knows what's gonna happen next, and you just see him getting sadder and sadder each fucking episode. I'm like, oh man, just fucking let the dude die. Fucking hell. Oh man, but the last episode really got to me because the episode was an episode he recorded over 7 years ago, and it was between Duncan and his mother. And his mother, I think she died of breast cancer a couple of years ago. And just hearing her talk about like how she accepted death and it just comes for us all. I don't know, and I don't know why. It just hits me. It just hit me in another way because cancer runs in my family. It literally does. I saw like to be in my first experience. Like, oh man, let's here. This is a good turn. Let's talk about death. Woo! I was introduced to the idea of death in general, I think when I was about 4, because it was also one of my first memories. Literally, one of my first memories is my father almost dying, me almost losing my dad. And I can remember the date, September 11th, 2001. Me and my family, we were just coming back from like a little road trip to Conchi, and we were in the back of my dad's old Ford pickup truck, Ford Ranger pickup truck. I don't know where's that pickup truck now. I think it's gone, destroyed. And I think some bastard cut us off, and we were all in the back of the pickup truck. And the pickup truck fucking swerved to avoid this dude. And my dad, who was sitting in the back of the pickup truck with us, I just saw him fucking get launched from the pickup truck and slamming against the concrete, and there was like nearly 10 seconds of just dead silence. And I'm looking at my dad, he's just sprawled he's just sprawled all over the asphalt, and he's not moving like at all for like a good 10 damn seconds, and then he starts to move. And I'm like fucking 4 years old, and I don't know what's going on. It wasn't until like the ambulance arrived where I actually started realizing that, hey, holy shit, no, I might lose my dad. What are they doing with my dad? They're taking my dad away. And my dad would, there was this thing that my dad would do when I was young. He would like wrestle me in the bed, and even in his hospital bed, like with all sorts of shit connected to him, he like wrestled me. Oh man, I talk shit about my dad all the time. I really do, but I think, yeah, that was the closest I ever came to losing him, and it's not exactly hard to talk about, but I think I was introduced to death at like a really early age. The second time I was, that's when I was confronted with my own mortality, was when my grandfather died. Now, I think it hit my brother worse because my brother was older than me. He actually, I was 7, and he actually had more time to build a personal connection with our grandfather. So when our grandfather died, I'm pretty sure he lost more than I did. And I remember we were all sitting around him. He was struggling to breathe, making some weird noises, and eventually he just exhaled and he was gone. There was this brown liquid that came out of his mouth. My mom was there. My grandmother was there. And yeah, my brother was there. And yeah, he was gone. That was the first time where I was introduced to our own mortality, because that's I can't remember if it was like the next day my mom was dropping me off at school, and she told me that yes, cancer runs in our family, and by the time I'm 40, I have to go get regular colonoscopy checks. Basically, I'm gonna have to get a camera shoved up my ass. um it kind of opened my eyes in a very weird way. Another time where it's fucking stupid when I think about it, and I keep telling people this all the time, okay? Tell the people that you love, tell the people that you actually care about, tell them that you care about them while they're still here. I learned that the fucking hard way. I learned that the fucking hard way, and I still regret it to this day. My aunt, Audrey, she was my dad's sister, and she lived in the Dominican Republic. She had a business where she would like travel around and help people start up their restaurants and businesses and stuff like that. And she lived in the Dominican Republic with this guy Bob, and I remember Bob from when I was like literally 5, 7, or 8. And now that I think about it, the last time I saw my aunt alive was when we visited her in the Dominican Republic when I was between 12 and 13 years old, and she would call us regularly, like every new year. Whenever it was my birthday, she would never miss an opportunity to call. And you know, when you're a fucking teenager, you think it's annoying. And I thought it was annoying. And yeah, she had her beliefs, I had mine, so we had a bit of a falling out afterwards, because she was a she believed deeply in Christ and God and stuff like that, and I'm still an atheist. I don't believe in a God or an afterlife. So because of that, we had a bit of a falling out. But I remember I was at work, and first I got a message from Reed. Reed was Bob's son, and I haven't spoken to Reed in decades at that point. I remembered him vaguely from when I was a kid. And I thought, all right, hey Stan, it's Reed. Can I talk to Karina? I'm like, oh man, I'm at work right now. I'll talk to her when I'm back home. And literally not 10 minutes later, I get a call from my mom that my aunt was murdered in her home in the Dominican Republic. And yeah, that wasn't very nice at all. I remember when I got the call, and I was at work at Vadrpit, which is a station way out on the southeastern edge of the Arikok National Park. It was a sunny day, but there was no wind at all. And at that moment, I just felt numb. I remember thinking, like, I couldn't believe it. There was like no fucking way. There was like no fucking way. Then I started believing, like, why the fuck did this have to fucking happen now? What did it have to happen at work? I contemplated going home right then and there, but my fucking stubborn brain decided to just stay at work. Cause I thought there was only 3 hours left, and hey, she was already dead, so she wasn't going anywhere. I was a fucking dumbass. So I it was I told my boss, and he was surprised. And yeah, I waited for, no, I can't remember. Yeah, no, I don't fucking remember the rest of that day. I don't remember the rest of that fucking work day. I can't even remember if I went to work in my own car or if I waited for my mom or dad to come pick me up. But what I did fucking remember was I I didn't want to go to my grandparents' place, my grandmother, oh mamita. I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go to the gym and work out like an angsty fucking teenager. Maybe I didn't want to like face the truth that she was dead. It wasn't until I got to my grandmother's apartment and saw my uncle crying, and I saw my dad. I've known my dad all my life. At that point, I had never seen him cry. And at that fucking moment, I realized that I just lost my aunt, and I'm never gonna be able to speak to her again. I'm never gonna fucking see her again. And that's when reality fucking hit me out of fucking nowhere. I'm actually getting a little bit emotional. Fuck. So, oh man, the funeral was the worst. Apparently, these fuckers, we it was suspicious that it was New Year's. And we thought it was weird that she never called us on New Year's Eve. She always called us on New Year's Eve, but she fucking didn't this time. So we fucking waited. Nothing. And then I got the call. These guys, they fucking came into her house, fucking bashed her head in with a baseball bat. She died instantly. They stabbed Bob in the back of the neck. They caught the fuckers. I'd never wish ill to anybody, but I genuinely hope if there is a fucking hell. If there is a fucking hell, I hope I fucking meet them there. The fuck am I saying? So, yeah, the funeral was the worst. She had to be cremated because by the time they found her, she was already badly decomposed. We didn't even have a body to bury. Just a box of ash. And at the funeral, I realized that I never had the chance to tell her, I love you. I never had the chance to actually tell her how much I missed her. I never had the chance to tell her how much she actually meant to me. And, yeah, that was my fucking reality check right there. That was my fucking reality. That was fucking reality's way of saying, hey, buddy, death comes for fucking everybody, including the ones you fucking love. All right? So that's why I keep telling people, don't make my fucking mistake there, okay? If you have someone that you genuinely care about, okay? I don't care who the fuck it is. Just tell them that you care about them while they are still here. Okay, because when they're gone, you're never going to have the chance to talk with them again. You're never going to have a chance to tell them what you really felt. Yeah, that sucked. So, maybe that's why I have a bleak outlook on life. Maybe that's why I'm a goddamn asshole. I don't know. I've dealt with plenty of dead bodies in my goddamn life, in my old line of work, and I'm pretty sure in my line of work now I'm going to deal with more. But it is the truth. And it was explained in that midnight gospel. And maybe that's why the fucking episode hit me harder than I actually expected. Because I've been exposed to that truth. And you know the fucking truth. Like, you know death is coming. I know I'm going to lose my mom one day. I know I'm going to lose my dad one day. I know I'm going to lose my older brother one day. I know I'm going to lose everybody one day, all right? But still, when it happens, it's not going to stop it from hurting. And we do, like, people, humans, that's the part of life. Everything changes. Everything gets born and everything dies eventually. And we as human beings, we as animals of this planet Earth are no fucking exception to that. We're not. We're just not. And when I realized that, it was both liberating and horrifying. It was both liberating and horrifying. I'm not gonna fucking lie, because to me, I am both comfortable knowing that there's nothing out there, but during the time, and I know that death will come to us eventually. And oh man, this is the fucking worst time to get gas. Fuck off. Jesus. I'm keeping that in. So, I know it comes for us eventually, and knowing that, it teaches me to not take things for granted. It taught me that the world doesn't give a shit. The universe doesn't give a shit. What matters now is who you are now and what you are going to be. So yeah, if you got someone, watch the Midnight Gospel. How the fuck did this go from I'm watching Midnight Gospel to hey, let's fucking listen to Stan's traumatic experiences. Let's go. Oh man. Now, those who already know me in real life know I'm a holly jolly person, but 90% of the time I'm just a fucking asshole. I think that's the goddamn reason. And maybe like knowing that, hey, we're all gonna fucking die one day. That's the reason why I don't beat around the bush. I don't fuck. If I have something negative to say about it, I'm just gonna say it right into your goddamn face. If you don't like it, yeah, pech fucking hot. Oh man. Anyway, guys, it seems that, oh man, how long has this episode been going out? Jeez, this is a fucking long episode. Fuck me. Anyway, sorry if this episode was a little bit heavy. In the link below, below you will find links to different charities for the LGBTQ, the Black Lives Matter community. Anything to help out with this whole fucking George thing. All right? If you have fucking time to donate, do it. It's for a good cause. Help the people who can't really help themselves. Remember, it doesn't matter what the color of your fucking what the color of your goddamn skin is. Everybody has the right to live. Everybody has the right to live peacefully. Because like it or not, we're all gonna die one day anyway. Okay? Don't be a fucking asshole. This is Stan the Man, signing off.